All right. And okay, ladies and gentlemen, what's happening out there? A good morning to you here on a Wednesday, right? Midweek. Midweek meditations, right? Normally is what I'll call this episode. Wednesday wisdom. And very true today, y'all, right? Topic that we got to put on the table and that deals with, again, ability and responsibility, right? Again, your response to the abilities you've been given and the abilities you've been given. Number one, shout out to Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, whose parents are Jamaican. I know when you look up the nationality of Kamala Harris online, right? Literally said that way. It's funny when you look up how to pronunciate her name. Y'all might as well get used to saying her name. I know. See again, some of the things we're going to talk very plain today, ladies and gentlemen, because again, you know your boy KJ here is done on watching the little dance that humans do, right? We do the religious dance. We like doing we like doing Master's dance, right? Maybe it's a little bit of the Charleston. I don't know. Some of them good old dances from back then during the plantation days, man. A little shucking and jiving. That's what we like doing, right? We do. We don't like striking the heartstrings and the chord of a situation. We don't like doing that. We like dancing around, leaving things ambiguous. Say it right out in the open. Because your open enemy, the one who seeks to devour, is literally seeking to devour you. You ever watch people like that, man, in your man and woman, ladies and gentlemen, in your life? You ever seen people like that? Man, I've seen people like that in my life all the time. These folks looking at how to screw your day up, man, and then with a smile on the face, like they don't know what you're talking about when you address them about it. Most black folks go through this whenever they check somebody that's messing with their day. Y'all gonna have a lot of that go on now because, again, you've got a prominent woman who is both Jamaican and literally Indian. Shout out to the nation of India. Shout out to the island of Jamaica, right? My Jamaican brother, my West Indian brothers and sisters, how y'all doing out there, right? Our West Indian, yes and amen. Our West Indian brothers and sisters out there. See, I know we do a lot of DID. No, it's American. Again, as we like to say on this podcast, the Americans were put into concentration camps that we call boarding schools. They were put on reservations, which are nothing more than concentration camps. But it's easier to see that with our Jewish brothers and sisters. A little harder when it comes to our native. I wonder why. Because y'all been sipping my syrup, that's why. I just gotta say it. This is what we're talking about. It's time to stand up. Christian brother and sister. Hindu brother and sister. Buddhist brother and sister. Islamic, Jewish, Confucius. Any belief, atheist. It's time that you stand up. Speak to the paganist. Y'all who believe in something, holy notions, right and wrong, right, up and down, left and right. It's time to speak now. This is not the time to sit back. It's always been the time, mind you, not just this presidential mess. It's always been the time. The real issue that y'all about to hear, ladies and gentlemen, come up, and again, when this woman get on the mic, man, it's gonna be some fire. Now, listen to what I'm telling you. We are not talking voter suppression on this podcast. We never will. Again, this idea of forcing people to do certain things is just a misnomer, and all it leads to is more rebellion and death, because all you're doing is oppression. That's not leading in the areas of balance. You're leading in oppression, and you know it. Most folks know it. They don't want to do anything about it. Because again, it profits them and not you. Right? Not here on this podcast. We're talking about blessed to be a blessing, man. The words coming out the mouth are going to set people free here. I'm not about that mess. Again, it's not about being popular. Got into a conversation with a brother online who is concerned about what needs to be said. No, this is the time to say what needs to be said. That's the point. We keep doing this thing where, No, it's time to talk. It's time to say it, come hell or high water, and then we move on. See, that's how this works. People have the right to choose as they so choose, which is why voter suppression is not something I'm going to do on here. However, you got to realize whether you vote Democratic or Republican, understand both parties have values, and those values trump yours because the U.S. government trumps yours. That's the way they have done it. That's the way they have done it, ladies and gentlemen. And again, government at its core is set up for people. The people do run this thing. Now, this idea of republic, naming it republic or not, is a misnomer because, again, the idea is that the people, right? Government for people. We got to start working our government, y'all. We've been lazy. Listen to what I'm saying. We've been lazy. So the 1 or 2 people at the town hall meeting, that's not good enough. That thing needs to turn into 4, 6, however you want to divide it up. Odd, even numbers. I don't care which one, right? Use your best mathematics. We're talking about now this whole idea of Joe Biden endorsing Kamala Harris and what's about to go down the pike. We have history repeating itself once again, where Donald Trump is up against a woman in the running for the presidency. Do you think Americans are going to get over their sexist bias? See, again, now you add in something extra here, unfortunately, that our dear life givers, our sisters, have to deal with men. Specifically, this mess spawned by European men who think it makes sense to lord it over their European woman, over their Jamaican woman, over their Indian woman, over their native woman. And again, each culture has had these problems internally inside itself too. So the idea when the Bible tells you there is none righteous, no, not one, that's for real. When it tells you all have sinned, that's for real. See, the part that the pastor, that the preacher, that the teacher, that the prophet, that the evangelist, that the missionary, these missionaries going across the globe, all these years you've been supporting invasion, not the Great Commission. Just gotta say it what it is. You've been used as a pawn and you hurt people. Don't talk to me about that being angry. You ought to be righteously angry. Yes, you should. And it's time to start saying it as so. This dear sister, y'all, you see a couple of these things online, guys. It just comes down to, and that's why I'm saying this ain't going to take very long. This is, again, you choose as you so choose, and we're going to hear all the stuff. You're going to hear all the defenses in the mind, so be it, right? This is how people going to go. Again, you got to work your government. So it doesn't matter which one of these folks you vote in. Again, for me, it makes sense to put in a woman. When do we get over it, y'all? Again, whatever you choose, so be it. Put a woman in. Now, I know some men are so up on their masculine, they can't handle their own wife telling them stuff in the house, much less from the White House, man. This is just the truth, y'all. This is the truth. When people vote, they don't vote from informed and societal needs and changes. They don't vote from that, man. Their set of values is no different than anyone else's set of values. It's how people are seeing it, okay? However, when you look at the baseline of a thing, understand there's been groups of people under this government that has been set up since 1776, and technically, really, when you talk about it from a historical standpoint before that. I understand legally the United States came into being in 1776, but Europe already started the stooge stage way back when, before the 1600s, right? This is what we've been talking about. Like Christopher Columbus in discovering anything. This man ain't discovered nothing. You accidentally happened upon a whole other people's world where they was here, some of them nude, in their own towns and villages, living life, worshiping God in their own way. And then you came across what the Bible called them pagan, said how unholy they were, and started slaughtering them, killing them, and then imprisoning the rest and making a workforce off of it. That mess continues today. Silencing their voice on the plantation field. Your new plantation field is your office cubicle. Whether it's a big old square box or whether it's a literal cubicle. Right? like the big old square box we all go shop, because again, consumerism is what the economy is built on. Ain't no saving involved. Ain't no saving involved. Saving is like a footnote on the spending part of it. Come on, y'all. And no changes till now. Any changes made have been minute. This idea, because again, black folks come up to the forefront, so do the rest of other cultures, right? Clearly those who are Indian, the Indian vote. Now most people of other nations, they realize how full of mess the United States is, right? They do. Some of them consider this their home, understandable. A lot of them though, especially the older you get, man, they understand what it is. The game is rigged, y'all. Okay? And you would hold Miss Harris accountable. Again, Kamala. You would hold Miss Kamala accountable like you would Donald Trump. People really gonna have to get used to saying. You see again, because you have United Statesized so many things. Because see, if you Americanized a whole bunch of stuff, you would be okay with different languages because there's a whole bunch of recognized tribes around you, right? There's a whole bunch of people groups other than the so-called white person around you. So you would have no problem talking to these folks, man, right? You would have no problem talking to these people. And again, this idea, I got 5 black friends, stop the cap. Yeah, I'm down with the culture. You don't care, man. You fronting just like Massa do. Again, we got to come to certain conclusions here, y'all. And again, this reigns supreme. All skin folk and kinfolk. So for my black folks that go, listen, there's a precedent that needs to be set here. So we understand that part of it, okay? And I know people gonna push back on it because that don't matter and Jesus don't see no color and all that. Yet the Bible says that all nations was made, all nations of the earth made by one blood. But God don't see no color. But there's nations, all the nations made. But yeah, I know. People are okay staying inside that box, man, because see, that box making them money. You stay inside that box, your church get that 501c3 grant and whatever else it is. We got to stop making excuses on the one side and start making them for the other. Then line up the two and see which ones make sense and go from there. And we're not doing that. No, the truth is people are being emotional. They're not using logic. Logic would dictate to you it's time to stop seeing European men run something where European men had no say on these lands. That makes sense now, don't it? No, KJ, come on. This is a different time now, and that was all the way back then. This is the stuff people do, man. This is what, and again, all that stuff puts more money in their pocket. What about yours, y'all? Just asking questions. We're just having a conversation. What about yours? Do you know? Do you know how badly your budget is being used in your towns and stuff like that? Do you know where your money's going? They can barely fix the roads. They can barely make improvements in these towns that they don't look like shanty towns. You want to talk about how first world country you are. You're just a couple steps away from being very second and third world. You look at some of these places there, so they got homeless cities, y'all. You can study it online. No, but it's the homelessness problem. It's the homeless problem, because see, they're not motivated. We done already heard this kind of conversation before, and it's come from Massa, y'all. We already know. We already know. Truth is, y'all are okay letting people die on the street. That's why the story of the Good Samaritan's there. We're going to end here with the book of John. A couple verses. They kind of go into the heart of this matter here with the nomination of Miss Kamala Harris, possibly as your new president, Madam President of the United States. See, this was the problem here, but you can understand. See, white folks got a problem with their own white woman. I got to say the truth, man. I'm done. And this is not to say that other cultures don't have a problem with their women and feel that they need to lord over it, because where in the masculine Bible does that make sense? You need help. You're told, male, you need help. We need help. Okay, I get it. You can do your own, and somewhere along the line, magically the S on the chest come out like you from Krypton. We understand, right? But you need, speaking of Krypton and comic books, man, I can't wait for this Deadpool movie. Yes, just gonna take the pause right here to talk about that. Yes and amen, man. I'm waiting for all of the sass, all of the crass, all of the vulgar that people can't deal with, because that's the life around you. Everybody try to be all lily white and so prim and proper, and no, that's not life. That's not how life is lived. It's lived in the gutter as well as on the mountaintop. It's in the dirty water source just like it is a clean river. Again, when separations and divisions and all these characterizations and categorizations, right? When these categories and classifications and stuff, man, y'all already see the play. This is a hustle game. This is the pimp hoe game, y'all. Stop being the hoe. Make your own money. Band together and get, never mind. These things, verse 1 in John chapter 16, these things I've spoken unto you that you should not be offended. Oh, wait, KJ, I thought you said that the truth is an offense. Yep. Yeah, it is. Yet Jesus is telling you, hey, maybe you won't pump the brakes on that. This is what it's telling you. Maybe we need to be less offended. I can't believe you said that. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he, again, they, doeth God's service. See, there's another thing. Women need to stop being the pawn for men. You sat there right underneath that man solely so that man could get stuff at your cost. I know this is another thing we don't talk about. Can the male be okay with pushing his wife's, his girlfriend, his baby mama's dreams? Can you do that? Oh, no, come on, KJ, man. You know, I did this, and I took the back seat. We ain't talking about y'all. See, again, drop the defenses. And just listen to the truth of the thing. Look into the heart of the matter. That's what folks don't want to do. That's what's missing in life. Anyway, they think they're doing God's service. They think. This is Jesus talking, by the way. And these things they do unto you because they have not known the Father, nor me. They don't know you. They don't know you. God said that the things would be used that are considered weak to confound the strong and dumb to confound the wise. They don't know you. But these things I've told you, that when the time comes, you may remember that people have put off some things from their memory. You need to remember it, y'all. We talked about that on this podcast, that word remember. Bring it up to your remembrance. Bring it back up to your memory. No, see, they've always had a problem when it comes to anyone copper-toned, tan, mulatto, whatever word you want to use, Negro. They have always had a problem with them ruling and reigning because deep in their psyche, they don't want us ruling and reigning. That's the problem, y'all. That's the problem. You want to stand against that mess, so-called white person, in other cultures of the world. It's again, all the people who were used in the pawn game. So my Middle Eastern, right, Arabian brothers and sisters, right? We're talking about the people who had something to do, a hand in the takeover of Africa, a hand in the takeover of the Americas, right? Y'all want to correct the wrong. See, my people, we tote these Jesus candles and Catholicism and all this mess. If y'all really about it, man, standing, sitting in your pew ain't gonna help. You got to get out on the line, y'all. Jesus is out on the line telling this to people. I know what y'all gonna do. You do the dance like, no, KJ, he's just talking to his disciples. I know what you're doing. I know. We already know, right? Anyway. Oh, man. Remember that I told them of you. And these things I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. But now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you asketh where I'm going. But because I've said these things unto you, now sorrow fills your heart. Normally people don't think of what to ask, and then once the truth hits, now you're sorry. It's time to flip it. See, this is what he's talking about. Don't be offended by the things a bit. Flip it around, y'all. Again, a different view, right? Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It's expedient, it's necessary, expedient, profitable, really, really, really important that I go away. Because if I don't, the Comforter won't come to you. But if I depart, I'll send him unto you. We're talking about the completion of a process here that's been going on for a long time, y'all. That's what Jesus is talking about. When he's come, he will reprove the world of sin, of righteousness, and of judgment. This for the Christian brothers and sisters here who love this. They foaming at the mouth right now while I'm talking, man, because y'all love that judgment, man. God, y'all love that judgment. Anyway. Oh, man, of sin because they don't believe on me. You miss the mark when you don't believe, y'all. When you sit in the seat of the scornful. We talked about this now. We're just breaking down these verses to y'all. I know some Christian brothers and sisters here want me to go deeper. We're not. That's not the point. We've been doing these exposés on these verses for a long time. Can we talk about it in this light, though? I guess not, right? Well, we're going to do it here anyway. Of sin because they believe not on me, right? Believe in something, y'all. Fine. You don't want to believe in God. You don't have to. Nobody is forcing you to do that. This is the folks who don't believe in anything, but there's something to believe into, man. And when you're talking about things that go on in this nation, in this planet, it's time to start believing in right and wrong. It's wrong that people are getting used and abused the way they are. Anyway, of righteousness, because I go to my Father and you see me no more. That right upstanding. Specifically speaking for Jesus, can you complete your race? When you're talking about righteousness and that upstanding rightly, take your place, y'all. Take your place. Stand upright for people that are being cast aside in this society. That's not the way that's supposed to be. And ain't no government party gets to tell you that, because they don't own the cattle on 1,000 hills. The creator and maker and fashioner and designer of this does, of which we're made in this. Never mind. Of judgment because the prince of the world is judged. Okay. So again, already judged. Since y'all like that judgment thing so much, and I don't mean to be going around talking about transgender. You're wrong. Homosexual. You're wrong. Sexual deviant. You're wrong. We need to stop doing that. I have yet many things to say unto you. You cannot bear them now. Okay? You get that? That's a real thing. Howbeit, when he, the spirit of truth, or let's flip that out, right? Because this gender thing. Man, England love doing this. Everything is just he. Anyway, howbeit, when the spirit of truth is come. Because the spirit of truth talks to the she just like the he. Anyway, because the she and he came from, never mind. When the spirit of truth is come, that same spirit will guide you into all truth. Of course, because it's the spirit of truth. How these verses changed my life when I heard them, man. No, I ain't believing the lies y'all talking about. Y'all saying a whole lot of mess because you sit right on the seat of Massa. Not only the scornful, Massa. Not me. I'm good. I'm good. Shall not speak of him or itself, but whatsoever this same spirit of truth shall hear, shall also speak and show you things to come, glorifying the one who sent the spirit of truth, right? So God above. For he shall receive of mine and show it to you. Now, there's this whole idea here. Let me just go back into something because this needs to be brought out in the open, and then we're going to end here. Oh, y'all give me 1 second. I feel like we should be doing that. Oh, man. Have not because you ask not. James, let's see. James chapter 4. Now, again, like I told y'all, I don't have these things, Bible and verse. I don't do that. We're talking about that which is in you. Which is in you. From whence come, this is where we're going to stop, because this is very apropos, especially ties into this whole nomination of Kamala Harris. From whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence, even of your lusts that war in your members? So like I told y'all look through history, man. Folks did, and again, primarily European, not the only culture. Definitely not the only culture. Yet used as pawns and puppets to spread death, disease across this planet. This mess in you. That blood, we talked about this before. It's one thing to sit there and you like competition and fighting and all that kind of thing. When it goes to the point now you got to go taking over people. Yeah, see, you haven't put your desires. So we talked about this word lust, strong desire. You haven't put it in check. So now you're just all over the place fighting each other for whose throne is getting what. Game of Thrones is very apropos, y'all. Ye lust and have not. You kill and desire to have and cannot obtain. You fight and war, and yet ye have not, because you ask not. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're going to stop. We have not. Now, I think there's another verse with that, but I digress. We have not, because we ask not. And if I find it, we'll talk about it next time, because it's a good segue. It's definitely going to be a good segue into whatever the next conversation is, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what it is. We would rather war and fight. That's what you're asking for, especially people that, see, again, when you watch the movie Civil War and all this kind of stuff, this is what y'all want. Y'all want to fight. Why? Because you've not put yourself in control. You're out of balance. All these things don't have to be obtained. Do you killing somebody? Put the guns down against your own brother and sister and hold them up against those that might mean you harm. Stop transposing those that you think would mean you harm for those who actually mean to harm you. You hear these things about migration and immigration. Understand it is meant to harm someone else. You drown out another person of people by using another group of people to do it. Guys, we done seen this already when this nation was formed on these lands. It's what they did. Do you know who the people were? Not only so go back to 1776, and again, even into the 1600s, right? So now Europe comes calling. This is while they've already been doing all their fighting over there. So now they bring that mess over here, right? You've already heard about diseases and stuff like that was brought over here, that they needed help from the natives here to help heal them, right? We already know about all this, right? Okay, fine. This is how you see, talking about history. You want to talk about something that needs to be brought up in government that come from people? History, y'all. Teach real. This ain't going to hurt no kids. This ain't going to scar nobody. Teach what's going on. But they make up a whole thing where this is going to be so damaging because nobody wants to uncover the truth. Just like nobody wants to have a woman ruling and running them, man. And you sure don't want nobody that's Jamaican and Indian running you. I know y'all don't out there. That there is a high possibility. Because it's happened in history before. While it repeats itself, there's a good chance it don't. What are y'all gonna do? Do you allow history to repeat itself? Or do you not? So, that's what I got for y'all today. Thank you for walking this road with me. Yes. Thank y'all very much. Us, the 600 strong here who listen to this podcast called A Different View. Thank you very much. And until next time, as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.